Are you looking to level up your author business?
Are you pounding your head against a wall, wondering what your next step should be? Then join me, Daniel Wilcox.
And me, Sacha Black, as we haul ass each week in a bid to level up.
Level up!
Come along for the ride as we delve deep into the business of writing,
Craft,
entrepreneurship,
and every level of the author journey. This is the Next Level Author Podcast.
Hello, Achievers, and welcome to episode number 74 of the Next Level Authors Podcast, a podcast where we hold each other to account and track our step-by-step progress as we level up our author business. My name's Daniel Wilcox, and here with me every single week is...
the author, Sacha Black.
Author. I feel like we can't say every single week now because we both, missed a couple. So it's like here with me most weeks, 99% of the weeks.
99% of the time this podcast is run by. No, I think we're allowed to say that. I think we're allowed to say that.
I feel like it's a lie. I don't know, lying to the people. But I'm back.
You are back. Hey, buddy. I have to say, I really feel like I haven't seen you in a really long time.
No.
And I think it's because the summer holidays have killed both of us. Because obviously you've had time, I've had time, you've had time again. We've had kiddos, so we haven't done sprints as much. So I would say it's been almost 2 months since we've regularly seen each other every day in the week.
Yeah, I'm kind of starving for some kind of consistency. And I know that you don't really get consistency in this kind of work, but just to have a Monday to Friday where things are normal. Because I went normal. Well, so I obviously went to the Lake District last week, which was fucking beautiful. It was really, really fun. Went camping, we had fires, drank ciders, we went on walks. It was just a good week to get away and literally switch off from everything, apart from a minor blip in which my mortgage person emailed me, and I literally for about an hour thought that everything was falling through because he said everything was falling through. And then the minute I was like, I'm confirming the thing you said, he went, oh yeah, don't worry about it. I was like, well, thanks for that, because that was literally on the Wednesday, slap bang in the middle of the week. And I was like, okay, let me breathe again. But I was saying to a friend yesterday, I feel so this is the first time I've fully taken a week away without my son since basically he was born. And I feel a little bit like this week I'm being punished for taking that week off because everything's suddenly catching up. And I have him again this week. So I'm trying to do all of the work around also being a dad. And it's just such a dichotomy from last week in which it was literally just carefree, just chill out, nothing touched, to this week where it's now you have to do all the things. And by the way, there are extra things that you've forgotten about that are also now catching up time-wise. So you've now got to do all those things. So it's a bit of a, I wouldn't even say it's a weird week. I just say it's an exhausting week for me. My sleep hasn't been great, but I've been sleeping long hours, which just tells me that my body's exhausted. So welcome back, Dan.
Yeah, I know that old chestnut of thinking you were going to get a rest and a break. Don't think so, buddy.
No. How was your week?
Well, it's funny you say about the sleep. I have been struggling to go to sleep before about 1:30, which is not great because some twat decided to do a Silent September thing.
Oh, I'm so excited for this.
No, I am not excited. I have deep regrets. And regretting life decisions further because the school has decided to change the fucking school hours. So now, instead of getting off at 7, doing 7 till 8 and then sorting my life out and sorting the kid out and then leaving for school, I'm going to have to get up at 6 to sort my life out and sort the kid out, then do the hour of writing. And basically, I do not cope well with 6 a.m. ever. It is the hour that kills me. I would rather get up at 5 than get up at 6. I think it's because, you have these 90 minutes sleep cycles. I always seem to be in the patch where if you wake up at that point, you feel horrific, and it's always at 6. That 6 till 7 sleep is my best sleep. So I know what's going to happen at the end of this month. And I know you're going to be like, mindset, but 34 years in my body of experience tells me I'm going to be a fucking mess at the end of September because my body will not readjust. But anyway, sleep has, I think my body is doing that thing that you said in the NLA Patreon Q&A, the refusing to go to sleep reverse.
Revenge,
sabotage,
bedtime
whatever.
Procrastination.
Yeah, I think that's what's happening.
So just to explain for people, it's it's something I've come across in the last year or so that seems to be popularized in psychology and going around at the minute. But yeah, revenge bedtime procrastination is the idea that your days are so busy doing work for other people, and if you're a parent, obviously being a parent, that in your final window of relaxation at night, if like, say for example me, my kiddo will be sorted by 8 o'clock. I normally go to bed about 9:30, 10, but my body's been forcing me to stay awake because it's almost like an unconscious reclamation of time, of like, what, I've had no time for myself today, so I'm going to claim this time now. But then that obviously goes into your sleep time, which then makes you more tired. So then the next day you want to do it again, and it becomes like a bit of a burning cycle, which isn't fun.
Yeah, so I have to say I have fear for next week. I am afraid of next week.
Are you going to bed earlier or attempting to?
Yeah, last night I was in the bath at like 8:30, 9 o'clock.
Because here's a thing that you really have to keep in mind if you're going to try and get up earlier and do that earlier bedtime thing and not have revenge bedtime procrastination, is just try and remember in the evenings that time that you normally have for yourself, then you have moved to your beginning morning. You've chosen like that to be your reclamation as such, and you just have to attempt to see it a bit differently.
Because it's work. I'm getting up earlier to work. I'm not getting me time.
Which
working.
Is a choice that you're making to do the thing.
Yeah, well, all I can say is thank fucking God I'm only doing it for a month, because I cannot see me doing it any longer after that.
I look forward to the final NLA that we record that month and just seeing where you're at.
Yeah, and like seeing whether or not it's paid off. The other shitter is that
because there's never just one.
No, both the projects that I'm supposed to be doing, I'm completely stalled on. So I'm supposed to be writing, I'm supposed to be drafting, right, in that hour, because I've got edits later on in the day. But the problem is, I have come to a grinding halt on Scent of Death, which was the project that I was writing, because I can't make my mind up whether or not I can salvage this new character that I've created into YA, or if I'm going to have to make it adult. Well, so it's funny you say that. It's funny you say that, because the more I've been thinking about this, the more I'm like, I don't actually know. Because think about Skins, the TV show. How fucking outrageous was that TV show? I've got Jeff Adams to thank for that prompt. And what about Sex Education, the Netflix show? That's outrageous.
What age was End of the Fucking World? Have you seen that? Because that was fantastic.
Yeah, I have. Yeah, that was fantastic. Don't know, like maybe a 15, I feel like it was. I'll have to have a look.
Was Skins at 12?
I don't know.
What age was Skins? Yeah, because that was like sex, drugs, rock and roll for kids.
Yeah, that's what I mean. It was teenage. So I don't know whether or not it is too much. Anyway, Jeff, thank you, Jeff. Very much appreciate it. Has given me a couple of books to read, probably much to my wife's horror that I've brought more books. But yeah, so I've got 2 books arriving tomorrow, and he's said to read them because he thinks they're, sort of on the line. So I'm going to read those and then make a decision. But I need to do it quickly, because obviously I'm meant to be drafting next week. So basically, yeah. Anyway, I haven't really answered your question. In summary, how was my week? # weird week. Don't know. It was all right.
Whoop, whoop. For people on the podcast, Dan is holding up his Weird Week t-shirt.
I haven't had my kid here.
Also, we've had quite a few sales of the Weird Week t-shirt this week. So I don't know who you guys are, but if you do have yours, or when they come through, which should be in the next week or so probably, send us a picture. We love to see people in the merch. So yeah.
Yeah.
Be fun. Nice. Okay. So what's something that you've enjoyed this week?
Oh shit. What? I forget the
Shall I go while you think?
Yeah.
So number 1, the Lake District. Like, I'd never been before, and it did not let me down in any way on expectations. So we went to Scathell Pike, which is the largest peak in the Lake District. we climbed halfway up because that fuck is huge. It's absolutely massive. But you as you climb up it, you're surrounded by basically a bowl of mountains, which is amazing. And you look up and it's kind of like, are you familiar with in Lord of the Rings, Emine Mule, the sort of rocky place that Frodo and Sam first encounter Gollum? You've seen the films, right? Yeah. So it's kind of like,
I've seen 2 of them. I haven't seen the last one.
Yeah, well, imagine those kind of rocks, but very high up. And it's just surrounded by a layer of clouds. You can't even see the peak. You can just see like these sort of like demonic rocks up there.
I have actually been to Scarfell Pike.
Have you?
I have. And I only also got halfway up.
Yeah.
Because like we went up and we were like, this mountain doesn't seem to want to end.
No.
Like it's like, why are we? And you look back down here and you're like, it doesn't seem like the car park's that far away.
No, because as you're climbing up, you can see basically flat through this valley to where the car park and this sort of pub is, and it never seems to get any further. But then when you're walking back, it takes like 2 hours before you're there. But, and that bit between the car park and the first incline is about 4,000 miles long. It's at least like a mile,
that's the bit that kills you. And it's not smooth ground either. It's like exhausting ground to walk on.
Yeah, because we were climbing up and we'd left it quite late in the day because we just had like a chill morning thing. And we were passing people on the way back down and we're like, oh, is it far to the top? And we thought we were at least halfway, and this group were just like, yeah, you're probably about a quarter of the way there. And we were like, they must just walk really slow. And then we went up and we kept walking past the next party and they were like, oh, is it much further to the top? Oh, you're probably about a quarter. But we've been walking for an hour.
Yeah.
So yeah, we went, it is like Scafell Pike was lush and I want to go back and definitely conquer that at some point. Went to Windermere, which is just a 18-kilometer long lake.
I love Windermere.
Yeah. And on one side is a really sort of quaint lakeside town, which is all cobblestone and really cute little shops and things. And on the other side is all your walks and your sort of nature parts, and hit both sides. It was just lush. And then on the final day, went to a place called Rydal, which has a cave. It has a waterfall. It has Rydal Manor, which is this really sort of like big old manor estate. Not the prettiest manor I've been to. I'll be honest, like its front is all really like just old and not really cared for. But yeah, so the Lake District. And also, this isn't so much a thing that I'm enjoying, but it's just something that I've decided this week that I'm making a public declaration on because I just want to, and I feel like it's quite a big thing for me. I've decided this week that I'm not buying any more paperbacks in books, and I'm going to read all of my books on ebook. Because except there is an exception to that, books that friends have published, because I want them on my shelf, and most of those I get signed anyway, and my own books. And most of that's just off the kind of kickback of like, I'm doing a bunch of stuff in the background with like raising money for World Lands Trust, and I'm trying to like do more to help with climate change from like my little pedestal. And I rewatched that David Attenborough documentary, A Life on Our Planet. And it was just one of those things where I was watching it and I was like, I can't on my side just keep buying paperbacks when I'm trying to like raise money to stop like forests getting chopped down. And I understand that obviously I'm not like judging people that do buy paperbacks, but just from my side, I'm switching to ebooks, and that's going to be something that I do from now on. So there you go, public declaration. And if you can hear my son in the background, he's being very loud.
Yeah, I love that, and I have a lot of respect for that. I will never do that, but
I am also looking at upgrading my Kindle just as to make it much more.
Yeah. I love the idea of ebooks, and I have to say, when I was at uni and that first period after uni, and when I first got back into reading books after having been at uni reading journals for God knows how long, I was an ebook reader, prolific ebook reader. But the more I read nonfiction, the more I read books that I am trying to deconstruct, and like, I just can't do it. I just, I write so many notes, I actually write in my books. I know it's really bad, but I don't care. And it's just how my brain, and also I'm on computers all day long. I just can't do it. But yeah, I
started taking pictures of pages now. I've got like a way to categorize them through my Google Photos, where if I find like a particular passage I like, I take a picture, and then I've got like an album where I store those particular things so I can reference them later. Seems to work for me.
How do you label them? Because I tried to do that for a while, and then I was like, I don't know what book this is from. I don't know what.
I take a picture of the cover, And then as I'm reading through the book, I then do it. So, because obviously they store chronologically on albums. So then I've got like book cover separators as I go through.
Yeah, I would love to read more ebooks, but I hate it. And I just like having...
Don't get me wrong, like I definitely prefer a paperback. But yeah, just from my side, that's just where I'm going now.
Yeah, I have a lot of respect for that, I have to say. Yeah.
Which sucks because I've got like 5 boxes of books I'm gonna be unpacking, and that might just be like my final lot of books.
Yeah. And maybe are you going to keep them all, or are you going to like give them away over time?
I think so. I think also the other caveat is secondhand books I don't mind buying, because obviously they're already published and out there, but I just don't want to buy and encourage sort of like new book sales.
Did you as an author just hear yourself say that? You don't want to encourage new books?
Well, no, like genuinely I had a moment in which I was like, do I go down the route of only making my books available on ebook to stand behind that message? And then I was like, no, I need to feed my kid.
Yeah.
Like potentially in the future, you know, once all of my books are like skyrocketing, I'll just be like, nah, ebook now, done. But now I can't at this point sort of financially do that.
Yeah.
Please buy all my paperbacks. No, don't get them on ebook.
Anyway.
What's your thing you've enjoyed?
I don't know. So I read Life in a Fishbowl by Len Vlahos, something like that. And oh my God, was it dark? It was about a guy who has a brain tumor. And so but he doesn't want to leave his family penniless. So he sells his life to a TV show. And his life becomes like this reality TV show, and like some of the characters are like complete caricatures like that, but it's done so well and everybody's so extreme that actually it just becomes funny. You know, so like there was some really dark humor. I don't mean dark scary, I mean dark humor, things that were very close to the bone, that I found hilarious. But when I then went and read a lot of the reviews, I was like, oh, this is why humor can either like fall flat or like people, because I like was crying with laughter, but because I have a dark sense of humor. And so, you know, like, and it was little things like there was a nun in there called Sister Benedict Joan, Sister BJ, like, you know, yeah. So like there was stuff in there, like things like that I was just like, yeah. So I really, and I think it inspired the new character that I created. Yeah. And I'll tell you why. It reminded me that the thing I like doing most of all is making people laugh. That is actually what I like doing. I love making people laugh. And that's what I do in my nonfiction. I try to make learning funny. And I have been saying to you around the fiction, you know, the fiction that I've got so far doesn't really match me or my brand. It's just what came out when I was, you know. So I think that I have to move my fiction into humor, because I am so much more comfortable writing humor than I am writing anything else. And yeah, so I don't know, I just feel like there's a bit of a shift inside me. And even if I keep The Scent of Death as a young adult, I think it's going to be much more like dark humor. And yeah, it was just it it was a reminder. Like the plot wasn't even, I don't know, like it wasn't a 5-star read. It was just one of those books that made me stop and go, oh fuck, you know, and made me have a bit of a realization. So yeah, I don't know. I'm in I really enjoyed it for that realization and that kind of epiphany and the thoughts that it's made me have.
I mean, from what little I know of your fiction, I'd agree with that.
That's where I should be going, isn't it? Or I should be going down that quirky, weird humor, you know, whether it's contemporary or it's fantasy, you know, it's a whole conversation and a whole thing is shifting inside me. But I can honestly say I don't think I will ever write another series like Kiefer's. I think I am going in a different direction now.
Nice. Let's not analyze what I want readers to fill with horror. Where are we? Weekly confessional. So first of all, thank you very much, Caitlin Duncan, for coming on the show and filling in for me and spending an hour in my shoes. Thank you very much. Caitlin said she will publish her book.
She did.
And she launched her book yesterday. We're recording on Friday and it came out on Thursday. So congratulations, Caitlin, on your first ever self-published book. That's huge.
Whoop, whoop. It is huge. I have to say I'm very proud of her. And I genuinely, like, regardless of the fact that she's a really good friend of mine, the book is fucking brilliant.
It is.
I actually learned stuff from it. And I just thought it was fantastic. So it's one of those books that really deserves to do well. So yeah, I hope it does.
I think it's because I think some people might be looking at it and thinking, well, I've not sold rights to my books, but I don't. It's not just for people that have. It's definitely for people who maybe don't quite understand what selling your rights means or is interested in pursuing the more traditional route. There's like cautionary tales, but there's also good information there on things that you should look out for. So definitely just check it out and it will kind of like help you understand that side of things more. And I'm also going to be cheeky and use it as our level up this week. So bam.
Yes.
And Sacha will work on tray edits.
Yeah, so I did about 5,000 words of edits.
Nice.
And I mean, I'm trying not to beat myself up and just be like, look, you're almost 11k into the edits now, and that is progress. But also I kind of expect it to be significantly further through, if not having completed it by now. But there are some considerable additions and rewrites needed. And obviously I mentioned last week the brainstorm with JP, and I had to do a secondary brainstorm this week. So I've got like a bazillion post-its up there. And I'm still fighting myself a little bit. Also, I'm feeling like my inspiration tank is a bit empty. So I'm really hoping that binge reading over the weekend and stuff will enable me to be ready to word a bit more next week. But I kind of did edits and like thinking, brainstorming work.
I definitely found that my non-fiction reading has halted now since I've been working on When Winter Comes. And because I've got the launch of that and like an anthology stuff that's coming up in the next few weeks, I'm still just reading fiction because I feel like I have to feed the fire as I'm doing the thing. So I do that as well. And I also am trying to get through the bloody Rebel Author stories. I had 50 in my pile to read. So the other judge had, I don't know, about the same anyway. And I'm trying to get through them, but I think I underestimated how long it takes to read them. So I'm like trying desperately hard to get through them in the next week. I'm still definitely keen on an episode on anthologies because I think there's so much that we could talk about.
Yeah, I think so too.
Yeah,
I've learned so much.
It's very interesting being on this side and just how apparent it is.
When's yours launching?
So the Omens Call will launch on the 1st of October, although that's not widely public. It's fine. But it's coming out on the 1st of October. We've got some launch stuff over the next few weeks coming out.
So what about if we do it in December, like one of the like Christmas bonus episodes, because I should be well into launch, looking at hopefully. Well, I mean, the decisions will be done by the end of September. It'll be edited in October. And then it'll probably go to an editor in November. So I'll probably leave December and publish it in January.
Nice. Sounds good.
Yeah. Okay, cool.
Sweet. No new patrons this week, but thank you to everyone who joined our Patreon live Q&A on Wednesday this week. And our next one is on September the 22nd. And if you want to...
That was only Wednesday.
I know, it's like 2 days ago.
Fuck.
This week is like fully just gut punch. It's fine.
Yeah.
And for anyone who wants to get involved, basically get more from the show, get early access to episodes, get all the live Q&As and whatnot, then head over to patreon.com/nextlevelauthors. Just gonna keep triggering that point. Sacha, what's your notice for this week? What are you plugging?
I I will plug. Wait, no, this will be over by then. Just my books or my let's do consultancy. If you have a problem, if you have a publishing question, if you're stuck, if you would like to a session strategizing your marketing plan or your publishing direction or multiple streams of income, you would like a one-to-one power hour on consultancy, then you can get that from me by visiting my website, sachablack.co.uk, and then going to the shop and scrolling down.
Perfect. I'm very excited for mine this week. I am putting up all this stuff for people to register for my NaNoWriMo bootcamp for 2021. So the full page won't be live, but what I am doing is putting up a form that you can fill in. So just if you're interested in joining my group this year, and basically I will be dragging people from start to finish on NaNoWriMo. 1st of November, we'll dig in our heels. We're going to try and smash that 50,000 words by the end of November. Then go over to danielwilcox.com, and in the Help for Writers tab, there'll be the Nano Bootcamp there. Or I'll probably just make a short link of danielwilcox.com/bootcamp. But yeah, it's no commitment at this point. It's just a register your interest, and I'll be getting all the information up in the next few weeks.
I would like to add that your bootcamps are awesome, and the text support and nudging and things are all fantastic. So yeah, you should definitely check that out.
Well, just
I'm oh sorry. I was just gonna say
you go.
You go, darling. You go, darling.
I was just the thing that I'm most proud of stuff is I think I looked up the national completion of Nano stats last year, and it was around 15-20%. And within the group itself, we managed to get a 78% success rate of people who hit the 50,000. So that was pretty huge for me, and for everyone else, obviously.
That's awesome. Yeah. I'm hoping I will be back to drafting nonfiction by then, but who knows? I think I might have too lofty of a goal, given that I've got to edit a book and write one before then.
Yeah, I potentially will be working on 3 books during Nano.
Fucking hell.
Which co-writing a book, looking at my nonfic, and also ghostwriting. So November, and could potentially be moving in that month. Who knows?
I think you'll have moved before then. If you haven't moved before then, you haven't made a nuisance of yourself enough.
Mm-hmm. Yes, I've got to badger my solicitors later. Fun. So level ups. Caitlin Duncan launched your first self-pub. Freaking congratulations. I hope it's doing all that you wanted it to do. She did say she was having a fancy schmancy dinner to celebrate last night, so hopefully that was lush. And just a reminder for people, the Level Up Challenge ends at the end of September, which is about 5 weeks away, which is terrifying because I said I'm going to launch the thing, and I have significant work to put into the thing to make it launch worthy. So keep an eye out for that.
Glad that I didn't really do much of a thing this time, because I just knew that this quarter was going to kill me.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the summer holidays is such a kicker, and just
you made
a derailer.
Mistake. I tried to tell you.
I did, but also at the same time, I'm kind of glad, because I do feel like there's a certain level of hesitation of launching the thing, because I really quality wise, I really want it to be what I need it to be, but also I'm in that kind of cycle of it just also needs to be out there so it can then grow.
Yeah.
Because like anything, you have to just get started and then build it from there. The thing. But yeah, for anyone who successfully has completed their challenge by the end of September, you'll be entered into a draw to win one of 3 prizes. Number 1, a 30-minute call with myself and Sacha. Number 2, a hardback copy of my self-publishing blueprint. And number 3, a copy of Sacha Black's 10 Steps to Hero workbook. Last week's comments.
There weren't really many comments. There was one from Arabelle on Patreon that said, lovely to see Caitlin on the show. I've just started watching her channel as well. I would consider going hybrid, yes. I will definitely be indie publishing my first book series and prefer the freedom that comes with it. I might sell foreign rights if I get popular enough. I would also consider entering the query trenches in another genre, non-science fiction and fantasy, if I was proud, but not as possessive over the production of the book.
Yeah, I think it's very sort of thinkative question last week, very, very specific. But I do also think that hopefully all that knowledge was very, very, very valuable for people, because it's something that neither of us really have that much experience in.
Yeah.
Okay, this week's question. Are you ready? Are you strapped in? Okay. Describe your perfect working day. He says on the cusp of silent fucking September.
Okay, so does that mean that our life is our life right now, or is this in a hypothetical?
If obviously with the components of what your life is, so obviously you're going to have restraints of like, school care and all that kind of thing. But what if you were to have a day where you were like, oh, that was such a good working day, what would that look like time-wise, specifically the things you're working on? Not necessarily like right now working on this particular project, but say it was like X amount of time dedicated to writing, some to marketing. Like, how would you structure and compose your perfect working day?
Well, my perfect working day would be at least 30 hours long. Okay, so
just imagine everything goes right exactly as you want it to.
Yeah, I mean, I feel a bit guilty answering this question because I can't have my perfect working day because I have to do the school run, and I'm not saying I don't. In answering this, I'm not saying
disclaimer.
Yeah, that I just need to disclaim, because I can't have my perfect working day, and much as I would love a perfect working day, I wouldn't change what I have, if that makes sense. So I would probably get up and to the desk for about 8 o'clock. I quite like 8 o'clock. I would work in a sprint group until 10 o'clock on words, I think. Preferably one that was a bit stricter than some of the ones that I'm in. So I would, I think probably 30-minute sprints with very strict 5-minute chats. And then 30 minutes, 5 minutes, 30 minutes, 5 minutes. So 10:15, whatever. So I'd like to do 2 hours of drafting. And then I would probably do a half an hour transition task. And then it depends, because obviously, like at the minute, I'm also editing. So, I mean, I would like the afternoon. Well, so if it's 10 o'clock, yeah, I would like my words to be done by like 10 o'clock, I think. That is an ideal world for me. And then the rest of the day is kind of whatever, really. If I'm also editing, then I would do editing next. And then in the afternoon, I would do other projects, be they creating courses, because I've now decided what my next course is.
Ooh.
Or they would be doing audio. I would like to work out straight after work. Because I'm really affected by endorphins, and if I work out late, so even when I go to the second class at Taekwondo, like the senior class, which is the one I should be going to, as opposed to the kids class of that list, I don't sleep very well. It takes me ages to go to sleep because I'm so full of endorphins. So I would prefer to do my workout straight after work, but unfortunately that's when I have to make dinner. For everybody. So yeah, and then that's probably it. I would like to not have to do podcasts in the evening, if I'm honest, but people don't live in the same time zone. So
that's
yeah,
one of the real
and then
bitches of podcasting.
Yeah, it is. That is the only bitch. I love podcasting apart from that. Yeah, and I suppose that's it really, because that is the working day. I mean, like occasionally it would be nice to be able to go to a coffee shop and know that I'm going to be able to write, but I find it really difficult, and I find it almost more distracting to go somewhere new because there's all the stuff and the things, and I find it harder to zone out. But I really enjoy working in coffee shops. So like in an ideal world, I might do that a couple of times a week if my brain would allow me to focus. Yeah, so I think that's probably it, really. I have really found that I really need sprint groups, especially in the morning, less so in the afternoon because I've had enough coffee to wake up.
Momentum, yeah.
But I find in the morning when I am tired, which is always, I'm very unfocused and distractible, and I will procrastinate unless I have that structure. So yeah, I would say that is my ideal. And a lot of my sprint groups don't start, and well, so obviously when we sprint earlier, but obviously we haven't done that for like 2 months. So, and I've really struggled. So Kate often comes at 10, and then I go onto the office, Becca Syme's office, after that. But the bit where I need it is in the morning, which is one of the reasons I've started Silent September. I don't know if I'm going to, again, I'm not committing to that after September. But,
yeah, because that's also, obviously, it is around kiddie care. That is a big leap, isn't it, from like 8 to 6?
Yeah. Well, no, it was 7 to 6. So I was going to get up at 10 to 7.
No, but I mean, when you're setting sort of sprint groups for accountability from 8, but then obviously in order to accommodate for the next week or so around Atlas, they have to start at 6 because of his school.
6? I'm not getting up at 6. No.
I thought you said just, oh, wait. I thought you said earlier your sprint things were going to be starting at 6 for Silent September.
No, they're starting at 7. I have to get up at 6.
Oh, I'm with you.
Yeah, because there's not enough time to get myself dressed and ready and get him dressed and ready after the sprint before we have to leave.
I thought they were starting at 6.
No, okay. So I have to get up and get myself ready. So I at least be, thanks for the post, I will at least be a bit more, less zombie-like.
Yeah. I find it really interesting that you say in new spaces there's all the shiny things to distract you, because for me it goes the other way, where I'm like, because it's a new space and I don't really know how the dynamics work in like that cafe or wherever it is, I tend to just get my laptop and just zone in, because I'm like, just ignore everyone else and do the thing.
Oh no, I find that I just want to look at everything, and I don't want to talk to anybody, but I just want to look at all of the things and look at the people and listen to what people are saying, and I just find it wildly distracting. But I think it's because I'm very, like, I get overstimulated by that kind of environment, whereas here I'm not stimulated by anything, because it's the same old shit that there's always here, and so.
Yeah, this is slightly tangential as well, but on Monday this week, I'm dropping off the boy quite early off in Lincoln, and because I'm going to be up there anyway, I'm going to go to some of my old haunts and just sit in a couple of cafes that I've not been to for about a year.
Oh, nice.
Which is going to be nice for me.
Yeah, I love that.
Yeah, and what I'm also hearing from your morning sprint half an hour things is that we need to change how we structure our sprints.
Yeah, because towards the end of them, I was finding that we were chatting a lot more than we were working, and that also doesn't work for me. Caitlin gave me this fantastic advice, and it's gonna be.
Oh, you got one,
everybody. Yeah, it's a visual timer, and it has actually been helping like a lot.
That's weirdly satisfying,
isn't it? So for people who can't see, it's it's a clock. Just like a little square clock, and you turn a dial and it makes like this as many minutes as you want read. It's sort of like a bit of plastic that goes round in a circle, and it's a visual prompt of how much time is left, and I found that has been helpful to me and my focus to try and bring me in the mornings.
I mean, to be fair with those kind of sprints, because with the boot camps, obviously I run a few times a week. If that's 20-minute sprints, like 7-minute breaks, because that seems to work for the people involved, and there is an element of Q&A and chatting in there as well. But I do find that if I do that on top of our sprints, which are like 20 minutes, that 20 minutes never quite feels like enough.
In theirs or
in ours. So I feel like I kind of want more of that, like deep, just uninterrupted. Because also then,
I don't think 20 minutes is quite enough for me. In Becca Symes, they do hour-long sprints, and that's too long for me because I get distracted. But I think something between, I think about 30 minutes is about right, because at about 25 minutes, my focus starts to wane. But I agree. But I almost feel like you don't count because you haven't done sprints with me for so long.
They'll be back from Tuesday next week. Because also
always still around, so
well, the week after. But yeah, so for me, and also if there's a weird like bubbly noise in the background, it's because I haven't yet fed my fish and they are ravenously just jumping out of the water.
Oh my God.
Quite one of them's quite big and it's very aggressive. It used to be gold, now it's turning silver. That's strange. So to answer the question on my side, I think it kind of, I don't know is my answer. I think the reason I asked this is because I've been trying to figure it, and essentially for me, I know there are a few factors that have ultimately disturbed what my perfect set of my writing day is, because I used to be very, very stringent. When I was in the day job and I was in my previous relationship, there were certain pockets of time that were just mine, so I claimed them. Like I used to do, like sometimes it was a 5:30, sometimes it was a 6, and I'd get that first hour 6 till 7, smash out, I don't know, 1,500 2,000 words, and then you just feel ready for the day because it's like I'm done. Not done because there's always more work to do, but like to have achieved the thing that you want to do that early was just like a very big driving force for me. And then I moved into my own place, and obviously the flexibility of what you could and couldn't do changed. Like I was still getting up early, but just not as early, because I was beginning to prioritize sleep a bit more, so I could, feel a bit more rested and not get burned out so often. And then pandemic, homeschooling, quarantining, all that kind of stuff. Then out of the quarantine and then back into it, and then moved house. So I'm obviously now living with my parents, and I'm finding now there's a real block. Like, so my parents have a caravan along the British coast that they go to on weekends. And I find that when they go to there for a week, my personal writing habits are different to when they're here. And I can't figure out, I kind of can, but at the same time, I don't want to admit that that's the thing, because it seems like such a stupid thing in my head. So like when they're not here, it's like the time is mine. No one's watching me. So I can do the things that I want to do when I want to do them. But my parents have very sort of like strict schedules on when they get up and when my dad works and when they do certain things. And I feel like if I'm not in somewhat adhering to similar schedules, I'm being judged for not doing the work, if that makes sense. Like it feels like, I don't know, almost like I have to prove something, but I obviously don't, because I'm getting the work done and my work is just different to everything they do. So I find it really strange. Like Bailey's been here all week, and yeah, there've been a few late nights, but I haven't once gotten up early, and like he's woken me up every morning, because there's also that thing of like the minute I open my door, I fear that I'm going to wake him, and then the day's going to start with him on me. And I don't know, this is, I feel like my big hope is that when I move into my new place, when, not if, it's happening, mortgage approved. That should be one of the things I enjoyed this week. I got that letter saying my mortgage is approved. But I hope and feel that because it's my own space and it's my own confines and my own rebuilding, I'm going to be able to do the things that I want to do. And then here comes the crux, because I'm torn. Because I am being careful what I'm saying. I will be getting back into podcasting. And as we've said earlier, sometimes that means evening work is inevitable. So I'm being very careful about how I structure my evenings so that I don't overload. Because if I then do early mornings again and I'm on calls until 9, 10 in the evening, that really fucks with my sleep. And I either have to build my life around a way in which I accept that that's just a thing and I find a way to accommodate that morning sort of entry, or I just accept that that's part of it and then just roll. Because basically, so this is a roundabout way. Obviously, I've been thinking about this a lot. This is a roundabout way of saying, like, the times in which I felt most productive were when I was up at like 5:30, 6. I was in town in a cafe from 6 writing. I would have all my words done by 9, 10 o'clock. And then I'd have the rest of the day free to work on whatever I wanted to. And I feel like I want to get back to that, because number one, coffee in the morning is great. No one's up. Like, you're just getting the thing done. And by the time that 10 o'clock hits, I'm literally like, everything else is just fun for me. But at the same time, I don't want to get to a point in which I'm sacrificing sleep again. So it's juggling that, because my perfect writing day is getting the words done in the morning and working towards a project, hopefully of mine, and not just always ghostwriting clients. And then in the afternoon, it's having fun with like planning, with strategy, with like ideation, with design, all the kind of like newsletter and bits and pieces of sort of thinking more broadly. And to be fair, and I'm just going on like a full ramble here, but like the brainstorms kicked in. Like I am aware that when we met in February, March time, whenever it was, we did like our strategy day, like a lot of our discussion was about finishing the things, and I'm still in the tail end of finishing the things. So there's still a lot to catch up on, as people can probably tell from like the board if you're watching on YouTube. But yeah, I'm missing those hardcore slots in which I can sit down for an hour and just think about a thing. Because at the minute it's all go. Like, I've got 2 launches in the next 6 or 7 weeks. And I've obviously got to like do all the tactical stuff for that. I've got a lot to do. So I think for me to answer the question and just bring around some kind of summary, for me, it's up at like awake at 5:45, getting those words in, and then definitely squeezing in a run at some point in the day, or some kind of like walk or exercise, definitely 100%. Planning and just a bit of headspace, because I've also found that me and Meg Jolly have been meditation accountability partners for like maybe, I don't know, like 4 weeks now, 4 or 5 weeks. And then we both went away last week at the same time, and that's broken. And I don't know if part of that's like affecting me now, because I haven't done any meditation this week and my head's just been scrambled. So yeah, right. Exercise, meditate, coffee, fun things in the afternoon.
So you said something very interesting that has, I think, given me a bit of a realization. One of the things that Becca Sign talks about is that people who are high strategic, you are not. People who are high strategic are pressure prompted. So what that means is that I need a certain amount of pressure in order to be able to focus and get on with delivering. And I've had 2 weeks without Atlas here, and I feel less productive than when he's at school, and I know I only have 6 hours.
Yeah.
And that's interesting to me. So that's interesting to me, because I was like, I should be at the end of this week because he's literally been at my mum's now since Monday. And he was at my mum's by 10 o'clock on Monday. And so I feel like I should, and although I've done a lot of things that I needed to, like mentally, in terms of, like I've done a lot of mental heavy lifting over the last couple of weeks, I haven't had the output that I would have done if we were in a normal routine of like school and stuff. And so I just think it goes to show that actually what we think our ideal days, because I would choose being highly productive in a short amount of time,
yes,
than I would having eons of time and having a week like I did this week where I don't feel like I was that productive. So yeah, like I don't, I might have said, or getting to work at 8 and blah, blah, blah is ideal, but actually what is ideal is me producing work in whatever guise that looks like.
So I definitely find go on, you finish, sorry.
I was just going to say Becca's got a strategic intensive next week, and I wasn't going to do it, but I feel like maybe I should. Just because like I don't know, we'll see.
Well, yeah, I definitely feel like I know that I can output 2,000 words in an hour, like fairly standard if I sit down, just do the work and make it happen. I also know what my word counts are per day that I need to achieve to hit certain deadlines. But I do find, like pretty much like you just said, if I then have an entire day to do the thing, those 2,000 words can take me 4 hours. And it was at the time in which I was much more strict with that morning, like hour, 2 hours, because I'd be like, I just want to get my, say, 4,000 words done in 2.5 hours. I just want it done. So I'd sit down and do it, and then the rest of the day was free. And I haven't done a lot of that for a while. And it's Parkinson's law. The amount of time it takes to do a task is dictated by how much time you give it.
Don't think it's Parkinson's, but I know what you mean.
I'm going to be Googling that while we talk. But yeah, so just that notion of giving yourself those boundaries is incredibly helpful, because otherwise you just sit back. It's the same reason that like some of my meetings at work, if I gave them 15 minutes to do the meeting, we'd get just as much done as if I gave people like an hour to do the meeting, because people then chat and whatnot. So
yeah, I used to do stand-ups that were like 15 minits long.
I used to message people back, just they'd book in my calendar an hour meeting, and I'd be like, no.
Yeah.
I am just Googling this now because it's going to annoy me. Time meant to do a task.
Well, this is interesting for everybody. It always shocks me that your strategic isn't higher. It like yours is in your never box. Is it 28 for you? Like that's not going to be a thing for you.
Parkinson's law.
Really?
Yep.
I swear it was called something else.
Now my laptop's screaming because I dared to open an internet browser. Go on.
Yeah, cool. No, that's it really.
You. Okay, so the question for everyone this week is describe your perfect working day in detail. Oh, wow, computer, Jesus. In detail, I want times, I want places, I want tasks. I don't. Just give us like a roundabout view of what your perfect working day looks like. Sacha, how are you leveling up your business this week?
By taking it slightly easy on myself next week, because my son is going into year 3, which means he no longer gets free school meals. So the organization is going to be, and there's like, he's now wearing shirts and ties. So there's like ironing and school shit. And then there's like, I think there's a school, I don't know. Anyway, there's quite a lot going on next week. So the first thing I'm going to do is be a little bit easy on myself. The second thing is do Silent September. And I think maybe that will be it, because like I'm not going to open that can of worms. That's it. I'm going to go easy on myself, because it's the first week back to school and we've got a lot more organization this school year, and I'm gonna do Silent Septembers.
Beautiful. Okay, I'm going to have all the NaNo bootcamp registration stuff opened, and that will be at danielwilcox.com/bootcamp. And I'm also in the throes of finishing all of the scheduling and planning for my 2 upcoming launches. So When Winter Comes is going to be launching, and The Omened Call is going to be launching, edited by myself and Julie Heiner. And I think I'm going to leave it at that for this week, because that's a lot of brain processing and actual like scheduling and reaching out to people and contacts. Like I've started assembling my ARC team, or rallying my ARC team. I've got to handle like a load of emails for that as well. But yeah, that's where I'll leave it. Beautiful. Well, thank you everyone for joining us, and we will see you next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Hungry for more?
If you enjoyed this podcast, you can hear more of my angelic accent and Dan's dulcet tones on our other podcasts.
For more of me, check out the Great Writer Share podcast.
For more of me, listen to the Rebel Author podcast. We'll be back next week holding each other to account as Dan
and Sacha
become
Next Level
authors.
Illustrious it's going.
You are one massive ginger bumblebee.
I don't want it anymore, Sacha. I don't want it.
To be perfectly honest, I don't want you to have it anymore either. It's not flattering. It's really not. You need to like hurry up and lose the centimeters so you can get rid of it.